This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
morning.
We're about to begin our meeting, our February meeting. Okay, we're going to begin with a prayer. Do I have any volunteers? If not, I shall do it. Okay.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together to do the business for the citizens of Dooley County. We thank you for the ones who are here with us, those who could not be with us. Pray that you would bring health and healing to the sick and suffering and to this fatality in our county and our city last night. Pray that you would bring healing all the way around that. And we pray that you would lead, guide, and direct us as we do the work for the citizens here today. In Christ's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We have a proposed agenda before you. Do we have any other additions?
Yes, sir. I'd like to, you should have, it didn't make it on the screen. Got an item about the Industrial Development Authority has recently completed their audit. Got a question about the auditor is currently working on our last fiscal year's audit. Got a question about that. And just a notice about a retirement at River Valley Regional Commission, an issue on New Cut Road, and then potential candidate to serve on the Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care Community Service Board.
Okay. Dave?
I'd like a executive session for potential litigation.
Okay. Tim?
No.
Tom?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move.
Okay.
Oh, Bert.
Good.
I move we approve this agenda, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
It has been motioned and second. All in favor by the show of hands. That motion carries. Now we need a motion on the floor for the old agenda. What's the approval of the board?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
Okay, it has been motioned and second for the passing of the old minutes. All in favor by the show of hands. And that is unanimous. Mr. Steve is on you now.
Okay. Well, we're a little bit ahead of time, but you want to go ahead and ask Mr. Gramble up.
Is that all right?
Mr. Gramble? Can you come on up? Mr. Gramble came to the office and requested to meet with the county commissioners about had a complaint about the public defender's office. I explained to him this board doesn't have any authority over the public defender's office. And he said, well, y'all pay them. I said, no, sir. They're state employees. The county does provide some funding for them. So he said, he wanted to come talk to y'all about the funding that y'all provide to the public defender's office.
All right. My daughter been in jail 4 months and she's mentally ill. And they've been carrying her back and forth to the mentally ill clinic. They locked my daughter up for a misdemeanor when she's been in jail 4 months. So I go down to the clerk of Superior Court. I didn't even know my daughter was in jail. Cause I know she mentally ill, Renee. And I go there, she get these papers from the Superior Court. And reason I come to y'all, cause something won't be done about this. Now, about me coming up here all the time and don't nothing get done, somebody gonna help me. Cause this ain't wrong. That girl, sometimes she don't know what she had herself. Cause somebody put something in her drain. Like they did Cedric, you remember that? All right, but our sheriff didn't do that. He took Cedric up there. He let me bond him out. He got out doing the same thing. So he called me sincere, said, let me have Cedric. Took Cedric back up there. We locked him up for 82 days till he got him straight. That I can be working now. He sent him over there to feeding the putman, and they pumped that stuff out of him. Then he sent him to Thomasville. And Renee was a shaving surgeon. So I goes up there. Now, they said that she charged with not telling the police the truth. She ain't got good sense. How she gonna tell you the truth? And then both of them white officers wrote up that she obstruction. You know, you done had this child in jail 4 months for a misdemeanor, a ticket. And then I called the public defender office. They done hired her a lawyer down in Valdosta, Georgia. Public defender, so they say. And I called him. I said, hey, cause the Superior Court lady told me that you hadn't filed no kind of motion whatsoever to get this girl out of jail. All right. I turned around and called the ACLU, and they put me with Miss Jessica Clark. She head the public defender office in Atlanta. And if I couldn't get her, they told me to call Miss Ashley Jackson. This child, but now they can take her out there to get medicine to keep her calm in jail. But now, then he told me, said, now look, your first call is free, public defender. Now. Your next call is $150. And your next call is $350. So as you call, it go from $350 on up. So when I talked to Miss Jessica Clark, she said, I know you ain't gave him no money. I said, not yet. He want my credit card number. I would give it to him. But now, reason I want her him because he gonna tell me we don't pay. I'm sitting right here when they ask y'all for so much money. That's my money too. See, a lot of stuff going on ain't right. That girl that had no business sitting in jail, 3 to 4 months for a misdemeanor. She didn't tell them the truth when they asked her a question. She don't have to tell you nothing under the law. You got a right to remain silent. You got a right to attorney privilege when you speak. And anytime you give a right to remain silent, anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. But the public defender system, we win one case since they've been here. Now we got to do something about that. One case, and this black boy from Montezuma win it. As soon as he beat that case, they fired him. I want y'all to know, cause I'm gonna do something about this. Now I done went along, but you're mistreating this child. This child ain't got good sense. What if she kill herself down there in jail? Before I came to talk to that lady, he gonna tell me I can't talk to her. Why I can't? She a public defender.
No, sir, I did not tell you you cannot talk to her.
You told me she might not come, but if she get money from us, she got to come.
As a point of order, the address should be to the chairman. And if there's a response the chairman wishes to elicit from a county employee or a member of this board, it should be through you so that we don't have an argument back and forth. I don't disagree that he should be able to defend himself or that he should be able to say what he wants to say, but we need to follow the procedure.
Okay.
Well, I ain't under the law.
Can you address your?
Is that under the law, Dave?
As far as I guess you are.
All right. So, we ain't got no public defender. Cause I go to court. They have eight boys up there. She done went back there and told them to plead guilty. How you know they're guilty? That's wrong. But see, these folks that mistreating her, they don't have to run for office. Y'all have to point them. See, that's what y'all got to look at. They don't have to run. They can do us any way they want. That girl sitting down there in jail right now. I don't even know why she's sitting there. Because our public defender officer ain't doing nothing. If that was a white girl, she wouldn't be sitting down there sick. And ain't done nothing. We got to get rid of racism. It's gone. And so you might well to put it on the site, ball it up, and go throw it in the river. And that's how I'm not hurting right now. But they'll take her to over there to Mill Flint. You get that messenger to keep her calm in jail. But our public defender ain't doing nothing. Head of paper, they ain't filed a damn motion for nothing. And 4 months on a misdemeanor. So when they come back here for some more money, don't give them nothing. We vote for y'all. They don't vote for y'all.
Okay.
All right, I'm through. So I wanted her here. Well, I can straighten up. And y'all see, can you get her here for me?
Before you leave, Dave, you got any questions?
No,
Tim? Tony? Steve? Okay. Mr. Turner?
Now I'm leaving it with y'all. Get her here.
Excuse me, I have the floor.
Okay, yeah.
He recognized me,
All
so
right.
please don't interrupt me. He made a statement that he wanted the public defender here. She's in the room.
What's
He said
that?
that she wasn't. She's right there.
All right, then why she ain't up here?
Wait, she
Sir,
gonna come
answer
after
my
you.
question.
She gonna come after you.
Why she ain't answering my question?
Direct that way.
She get my type money.
Direct your questions that way.
She get my type money, don't she?
Okay.
See, what it is, y'all gonna learn this. We got 27 elected officials in Dooley County. And ain't nothing happening. You got 5 at the city hall. You got 5 at the board. You got 3 here. You got 27 black elected officials.
Okay.
Okay, I'm through.
So,
But something gonna be done.
yeah, come on.
Go ahead and respond.
Just introduce
right.
yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
hi, I'm Tracy Mullis. I'm the Circuit Public Defender of the Cordell Judicial Circuit.
Okay.
Go ahead. Okay. I'm not sure the name of who he's referring to. I don't know the specific complaint or who the person is, but from what we've looked at, first of all, we couldn't find anybody with a similar name in Dooley jail with the situation that he's talking about. I think this person may.
Okay, Mr. Granville, she has the floor.
Okay, so I was wondering if they might be in the Crisp jail because we did find a Granville that might be similar, or actually 2. But our office does not represent them. They both have conflict public defenders, which I do not assign. So if our office or the attorney determines a conflict, then it's sent to GPDC in Atlanta. Then they have a conflict division, which obviously is totally separate in a sense from us because we have a conflict, so we don't have any input or anything. So they have a whole department that assigns the conflict attorneys. And at that point, we're out of it. So we do not, I do not believe, based on the information I have, of course, I don't have a specific first name, that we even represent, that my office represents them. I believe this,
May I?
I'm sorry.
Just to try to keep things on the even keel here, there's 2 points. One, we have the jailer from Dooley County providing security here today, and he indicates that could we ask him?
Yeah, you can ask.
Is she in your jail?
No.
Do you know where she is?
In Chris County.
Okay, is she charged with something from Dooley County?
I don't think so. If she was charged with duty, she'd be up there with us.
Okay, that's the first point. Second point is you use the word conflict and that a lawyer in your office made that determination and sent it to somewhere else. That sounds like a lot of bureaucracy to me, ma'am. And that sounds like you just didn't want to deal with this case. So why don't you explain to me what a legal conflict is and why whoever did what it was? Because you don't even know her name.
Right. So basically, if an attorney has a case and determines they have a conflict based on the rules of professional conduct and ethics that we have to follow from the Georgia State Bar, we have to get an alternate person assigned. There's no money involved. It's just sending the name and the case information. A conflict may be something like we represent someone else charged in the case, so we can't represent both. In addition to that, there are many other conflicts. It may have something to do with a witness in a case. If they're a former client or current client, we certainly could not represent the new client. That would have to be conflicted out. The purpose of that is for the protection of the client, of the new client we just picked up, as well as any former client or anything like that. But the attorney has a set of rules that are, made by the state bar that we have to follow and cannot represent people in certain situations.
Okay. Those are the questions I was going to ask. You hit both of them because I didn't understand what was going on about the conflict.
I think that's important. The other thing I want her to speak to, because I want to know about the representation of people in Dooley County, and you only represent people in the Superior Court in Dooley County.
In all counties, we only represent people in the Superior Court and Juvenile Court in this circuit.
Okay, I missed juvenile. All right, because we don't get to see that. But in the public, where the public trials are in this county, how long have you been in that office as the director or whatever?
Okay. I've been in there since December of 2014.
How many jury trials have you had in Dooley County?
In Dooley County or the circuit? I'm sorry.
Circuit, whatever.
Here. Since I've been here, I don't have a number, but a lot, or either supervised them. Because when I first came here, I had to take a lot of the serious cases and, go around the circuit and try them. And now, we have since I got here, trained attorneys that know how to try a case. So I will supervise new attorneys as well.
Okay, I guess what I'm getting to is
I don't know the number.
The question I'm getting to is the allegation or the statement has been made that there's only been one win in Dooley County. And I want to know if that's in your tenure. Is that true?
That is not true.
So is it 2? How many cases have y'all won?
We've won.
I mean, by win, I think the win definition is you got an acquittal at a jury.
Right. Well, I would like to say, first of all, that whether you win or lose a jury trial does not speak to the adequacy of representation, first of all. And second of all, we've won a lot of cases. When I first got here and was tracking it, I mean, we were at something like 80% at that time. Lately, I've not been tracking that because I know everybody's doing their job, preparing. I oversee that. But we have won a lot. Comparatively speaking, when you're talking about public defenders, defense attorneys, private at that, the defense usually isn't as successful as winning as the prosecution, just in general, all over the United States. That has nothing to do with here, but yes, we've won quite a few. I mean, I tried 2, but it's been a while, but I tried 2 in Dooley County, 2 major trials with serious offenses and won them. I think the person he's talking about with the one was one of my former assistant public defenders who I did not fire. I know he won at least 1 or 2. Then I had another female assistant who I know won 2. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I could have looked and probably got more, but so.
Okay. I recall an occasion when I came in the courtroom in Dooley County about 2 years ago, and there was a defendant on trial for child molestation.
Yes.
What was the result in that case?
It was not guilty on all counts. I tried the case. Me and Ms. Clark tried the case.
Rashawn Clark.
That's correct.
She's from Montezuma.
She is.
Okay. And she's African American.
She is.
And she's no longer with your agency.
She is with our agency. Actually, she went to a higher level position. She was my chief assistant, and now she is head of, I may not get the name right, but she's head of the conflict division that covers Macon, Georgia, not Macon County, and some other surrounding areas. I'm not sure, but yeah, she's actually in an executive position now in charge of conflict management over there.
If the agency that you work for in Atlanta made a determination to hire a lawyer out of Valdosta to represent someone on a conflict, would they be paid by Dooley County or Crisp County, or would they be paid by the state of Georgia?
They're paid by the state of Georgia.
What funding do you get from this board?
I get funding from the county to run the operation of the office.
Okay, and is that required under the statute?
Yes,
So the courts have held that the county has to provide that funding because the statute requires them to provide that funding.
yes. And there's also in the budget some funding for an additional attorney, but I don't have anyone to fill that position yet. I forgot about that. That was.
Okay. And there was a class action lawsuit. There's been several class action lawsuits involving the public defender system from this circuit.
Yes,
In fact, the statewide public defender system was started from a class action lawsuit that originated against Judge Pridgeon in this circuit about 20 years ago, right?
that's my understanding. Yes,
And that was before your time.
that was.
And then most recently, there was a class action lawsuit about not having adequate staffing in your office before you were there.
Yes, when I came on, I got added to the lawsuit. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And as part of that, there was a settlement for a period of time where there had to be additional funding required by the counties in the circuit.
That's correct.
And that's, no other circuit got that extra that you know of.
Not that I know of. No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have Tim? Tony?
So,
Okay. Steve? All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll, come on, Miles, where you at? Continue with agenda items. On the board, excuse me. On the Board of Health, we have 2 positions that are vacant. Board of Health, the county commissioners appoint 4 members to the Board of Health. And they identify each position, and the 2 positions that we have currently vacant are considered position number 3 and position number 4. Position number 3 was formerly held by Shay Massey. Her term expired in December, and we were unsuccessful in making contact with her to see if she wanted to serve again. So we, by default, we're assuming she does not want to serve again. So that position is vacant, and it describes that position shall be a consumer, which means a consumer of the service, a consumer of services of the health department, or an advocate for consumers of the health services at the health department. And position 4 is vacant. It was formerly held by Betty Lamb, and she resigned at the end of last year. That term will expire December 31st, 27. And this position shall be a consumer who will represent the needy, underprivileged, or elderly community. So we need 2 individuals to serve on the Board of Health is the short version.
Well, let me ask you this question now. Now, on the Board of Health, that didn't really have to come from any particular commission.
And y'all have not assigned those to any particular district. That can be anybody in the
That's
county.
what I thought. Okay. All right.
So we'll keep that on the agenda. I had hoped to have some spreadsheets that we could talk about the salary study, but I just have not got that ready yet. So if y'all don't mind, we'll leave that on the agenda for next meeting, hopefully. Item number 5, the Georgia Department of Community Affairs has published their annual job tax credit program designation for the year 2023. This is where they go through and look at all certain economic factors and rank the counties in the state into tier 1 counties, tier 2 counties, tier 3 counties, and tier 4 counties. Unfortunately, this is one of those rare times when you don't want to be number 1. But that means you're based on the factors they looked at, you're the poorest county in the state. So, and then to get to the listing, this top box here is the tier 1. Dooley came in at 70 for this year. The number in parentheses after it, last year we were number 11. So based on the economic factors they looked at, we improved 59 positions.
Ooh, How we jumped to this so high?
based on the factors they looked at. So you got to take all this with a grain of salt now carefully. And I took the liberty of highlighting all the counties that touched us around. And except Houston. Houston's way on down the list. I think they're in a different league than us. So anyway, but there are some in tax incentives for employers that hire new employees in Dooley County. That's the bulk of what this is designed for. So, any comments? Well, just so you'll know, let me scroll on
It
down.
used to be $3,000 per employee per year tax
What?
credit.
How much?
Huh? It used to be if you hired employees in Dooley County, it was $3,000 per full-time per year tax credit.
According to their ranking, Telfair is supposedly the poorest county in the state, and Cherokee County is the most well off. Houston is 129 now. They were 132 last year, which means they actually got worse. 3 positions. So
I don't know how that.
really. So anyway, like I
What
said,
they going by?
anyway. Item number 6, ABM Building Solutions has submitted their performance report for year 2, which was September of 21 through August of 22. And basically, according to the agreement we signed with them, they guaranteed a savings of $63,120 from electricity cost. And according to their calculations, they saved us $65,059 for. So they exceeded their guarantee by $1,900.
Do we have to give them a check for $1,900?
Well,
We get to keep that.
How do they determine who doing the survey, the research, and all that stuff?
You don't mean to pull up that 64-page contract that
No, I
shows
want
you.
to put up what I'm saying. If I were their own people doing it.
Supposedly, basically,
Now, that's not a savings in power. That is cost avoidance of equipment. Wasn't that all in that?
I think it's my understanding this is strictly the electrical portion. Now, they guarantee that we would save more money than what our note payment, we had to borrow the money to do the project. They would save us enough that would exceed, our savings amount would exceed our loan payment amount.
Mhm.
But in that agreement, like I said, the $63,000 was from, as I understand it, from electricity. The other 300 and something plus $1,000 was from, how did they word it in an agreement? Basically, equipment replacement cost.
But we're replacing equipment they put in now.
Well, we're having to repair some major parts, not the entire units. And the warranty has expired on the parts.
I'm sure.
So,
So that's why we're
But-
paying all that money.
I wasn't a big fan of the ABM project to start with. I never have been. But the county commissioner signed off on it. And like I said, the $360,000 of cost avoidance, like equipment replacement, that was more than our annual building maintenance budget to start with.
Four times.
But anyway, that agreement's been signed. It's our agreement, so we got to deal with it.
I never could understand.
So
I think there's
sometimes you just got to hold your nose and deal with it.
But when they were changing all them filters out in the air conditioner, we went from them to.
Yeah, we have the preventive maintenance contract that we're required to have under our contract with ABM. We canceled ABM doing preventive maintenance, and we got a firm out of Cordell that does it, and it was significantly cheaper than what ABM was.
I just hope the school system didn't look at our success on this and just make their decision on going that route, because I think they'll be highly disappointed.
Well, one guy did call me. I saw that. Told him about that right there, but it evidently It didn't do. He must have been the only one that heard me. The rest of the board couldn't have heard me because they weren't gonna hire him anyway. But,
I told him, same thing you told
I'm
him.
telling you, I'm
Ain't
so
worth it, but
yeah.
they hired him.
Yeah.
You could do it piecemeal by local contractors yourself for what, I mean, at a fraction of that price.
All right, item number
I'm done.
7, and I apologize for this. There was a letter was sent to the office about Somerville Road, and it got covered up on my desk, so it's a few months old. But anyway, I sent y'all all a copy of it. It's from some people this is I'll show you the people that signed the letter. Tommy Turner, Susie Davis, Maddie Parker. This is all in reference to a piece of land out on Somerville Road. And let me pull up the map here to show you where we're talking about, if it's still here. Yes. I believe this is going to be in Chairman Barron's district. But, all right, this is State Route 230 between Byronville and Unadilla. Mims Road right here, and this is Somerville Road right here. Mims Road is a paved road that goes up to 329, doesn't it?
230.
That's right.
Yeah, it goes on up north to
Right.
329. This is the parcel of land they're talking about. Basically, in there they complain about the condition of this dirt road at times. So that their property actually they have frontage on Somerville Road and on Mims Road. So the way I interpreted the letter, since it's not known when Somerville Road will be paved, we would like to have an accessible road from Mims Road to our property, located at 506 Somerville Road. So,
You're saying their land touches Mims Road?
yes.
They do.
So
In other words, they want a new road cut to their property.
Well, it sounds like they want a driveway cut to their property, but
yeah, I mean, they can build their own driveway
Mhm.
to that property.
anyway, I apologize. Like I said, this letter got covered up on my desk.
But see, that's the like Buckles Road. That's the road I was asking about right there. And I know it's been a problem down there when you first come off of Main Road. They don't own right in there. They don't own that property there where those trees are. And you know, I think Burtville been working on the right of way, you know, for that. And the road is bad. And I know they did a lot of work on the road back this summer. But you know, that only gonna last so long. And I know with all this rain, I know it's been tough. And the county did a good job pulling the ditches and trying to get that sand back up on the road so that they could, you know, go on and off the road. But I mean, that's all because they constantly worry me about that road all the time. And I told them I'm just doing the best I can. A lot of times it's not our fault. We just need, majority of the time, it's the right of way. Trying to get them doggone folks to give up the right of way. So if they own all the way down to the main road, you know, it might be something we could do. You know, but I don't know where Burke is along on the trying to get the right of ways on that right there, but
We've got the right of ways that people are willing to give us. And that's been the holdup all along with a lot of these projects is it goes back to the commissioner and the district to want to get the political will to do it because they're not going to give it. And some people, these people that wrote this letter, they want it paved now. Okay. They're willing, but I don't remember the name of who it was, but somebody did not want to do it. And the position of the board when I presented it last was we don't want to condemn it. And if you start condemning right away, you set a precedent that you're going to do that for every road out there. And it's going to be a costly, you're going to be paying them for the privilege of paving their road. So if y'all want me to take a different direction to move it along faster, we can do it, but we've got to condemn the right of way.
okay, now the one, which right of way is that we don't have?
I'd have to pull it, and I didn't realize that.
You know, when you did Somerville Road, I remember last time looking at it, you were trying to pull the right of way for the entire road.
Right.
Right?
Right. Are we changing that now to,
I don't know, but I mean, the holdup is the corner. You don't even have to click on it. I remember who owns that.
who?
Click on it.
Bob Jeter.
Oh, Mr. Jeter doesn't want it, or didn't.
He doesn't want, I mean, he's not going, I don't think he'll give up his,
That's the problem.
the right of way.
Or the first problem you got to overcome. And there's the way to overcome it, and that's to condemn it and pay him and get into a lawsuit to do that. And you're going to have to pay whatever the court determines.
Ain't worth that.
Well,
How
Yeah.
far is their house off of I mean, why can't they put a driveway in off of Mims?
From where they live, it's probably about, I'm gonna say about a mile.
Which 5006?
I'm assuming this is their house,
They're right there.
so this is their driveway out to
Right.
Somerville Road now.
Right. And see, they want, according to that letter we just read, they want to go back over there to, right there.
Well, if you want to be picky about it.
Yeah.
If they had to do a paved driveway to Somerville Road to make it all paved,
All right, basically it's 500 feet from the house to Somerville.
talking 300 feet, 315 feet difference.
800 feet to
So that's,
Mims Road.
yeah, that's a little over a mile then.
No. That's 815 feet.
Oh, you said feet. I thought that was 8,000.
No, it's just 800 feet.
Okay.
According to them, I didn't
Uh-huh.
take that with a grain of salt too,
Tell them to change the driveway direction.
Yeah, I mean,
Cause literally they have a road that's what be going down. That's, I think when it rain real bad, they go down that road there.
which way?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
not these particular people who, it matters not if the property owner lives in here primarily or not. They're still a taxpayer, and we don't treat them any differently. But what we have run into, just for some of the other commissioners' knowledge in the past, is sometimes the out of county, it goes both ways. People like somebody who lives there, and they don't like somebody who lives there, whatever. They put that on whether or not they want the road paved. And what some people think is they come from an out of county, they're not, and they want the rural experience, okay, including the muddy road until it's muddy. And then they don't want it paved because they think it's going to cost them more money on their taxes. And I went with Mr. Lockerman over this. It doesn't immediately cost them more money, but one of the factors when they do the reevaluations is, are you on paved roads or not? And so that does have some value factor in it because it makes the house more marketable, and they will make more money if they sell it. Their contention is, I'm not and never going to sell my house. Well, that's not true. No one ever keeps a house forever. Some people do, but that's rare, especially if you don't live here as your primary residence. When it's all said and done, that's the flack we get. Then the flip of that is from our own citizens who born, raised, lived here, or they live here permanently, however you want to put it, and it's not a secondary place for them. They say those people from out of state just want an easy way to get into their place. We don't want to pay the difference. And what it bottom line is, some people have a preference on whether or not they want the road paved or not. And we've got to get everybody on the road in unison on what they want to do. And so it's not going to get paved, in my experience. It's not my opinion. This is just my experience. It's not going to get paved until everybody signs off on the deeds, because you don't want to go to the trouble of paying to condemn it, the legal fees, and then having to pay them out in a trial what they can prove it to be for the privilege of being to their house. And it's not worth a lot.
Yeah, but it's
No,
not,
it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna cost a lot to
Can those
get
people
there.
go buy the right of way from the landowner?
I don't know about all that, but I know, and I know the people that live out there, and I know it's not fair. Because if I were living up there on that road right there, and trying to get on and off that road, especially if it's an emergency, and they because a person wants to give the right of way down there, and he doesn't live out there because he live on a paved road. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to those people that live up there. For them to have all that inconvenience of not being able to go, and on and off the road. I don't think it's fair. But you know, and I've been here and I've been through this because I the one road tried to get paid once before, and then later when, and she was an attorney like you, Mr. Bird. I called her and she told me, "Don't you say a word." That's what she told me. She said, "Don't you say that one word. Let me talk first. I ain't getting up nothing. I live on a paved road. Good day."
How many
That's what she
feet?
told me.
I know
How
her
many
and
feet's
her
a
brother.
county right away?
For a paved road, we need 60 total feet of right of way.
Why can't they give 60 on their land?
Well, I really now we don't have that.
So yeah,
before too.
that will just get them to this point right here.
Oh, he on.
Right. See, that's the problem. He coming off the paved road.
Yeah.
See, if they own the land all the way down to the highway,
Do that.
it'll be different. Cause we have actually had that to happen. A landowner gave up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, time changes all things, and people's attitudes change over time.
That ain't gonna happen. Not
That's
some
ridiculous.
dirt.
No.
2 feet of dirt. They worry about 2 feet of dirt.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm having the same problem on Clemens and Heath Road. For the last 20 years, we've been trying to get that road paved. No, we ain't gonna, no. They don't understand the road is so wide now, you're not even giving up anything. It's just giving the county right to clean your ditches. That's all it is, really.
Mr. Mashburn might be able to give some insight on this.
Mr. Who?
Don't put him
No.
Yeah, and then like I said, that Bucker Road. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know. I just hate for people to have we lucked out by getting our road paved, but it just don't seem right to make people punish people like that, because other people don't want to give it up.
I told the people the same thing on Heath Road. I mean, how people get an emergency, how they gonna get down there?
Yeah.
That's their fault,
But you can go to the other thing of when they bought the house,
It was already,
it was on a dirt
yeah,
road.
it was on that road, yeah. That's
But
what
now
I'm saying.
these folks been out there for 150, 200 years. I heard what Mr. Burke said, but I can almost guarantee you these folks, they ain't going nowhere. And I know some of them want to move back because the house that we pointed to, that's a family home, and they ain't going to ever sell that. You can forget it, and unless all them dolphins and the grandchildren or the great grandchildren get it, and then they don't want it. But as it stands now, that ain't.
You can make the argument in this case, at least these people are fortunate enough, they could have access to a paved road if they made a driveway on their property. So, I mean, they have an option that the Buckles Road folks don't have.
Well, but it gets down to this from a legal standpoint. You could say, well, we could just go out there and pave their portion of the road and then tell them we can't deal with your neighbor. Politically, you're not going to do that. And practically you're not going to do that. Politically, you're not going to do that. And legally, you're not going to do that. So don't even think that way, because if you did that, you're not doing a road for a public purpose. It appears you're doing a gratuity for those landowners. So you got to be careful. You can't just benefit one over the other. It's got to be for everybody, because the taxpayers that want it have the rights. It's the same as one who doesn't want it. And what I was trying to point out earlier is the groups that don't want it aren't always the ones from out of state. And there aren't always the ones that don't live on the road. We've got different situations on different paving projects across the county. And what it gets down to is, why do you want to live on a dirt road to begin with? Because you want to live on a dirt road, or you have to live on a dirt road, or it's a family place. There's any number of reasons why you live on a dirt road, because there's plenty of paved roads everywhere else around, including this county. But we're down to a few we're dealing with, and we're going to keep having the same conversations about it. Legally, your remedy is either get them to give it to you, you buy it from them, or you condemn it, or you don't do anything. A, B, or C, or D. That's all I can add to this conversation.
Well, we need to keep right on trying. We need to come up with one of them A, B, C, or D.
Not D. D's do nothing. You don't want that.
Okay. Now
Well, maybe you do.
No, I don't.
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, moving along. All right, did you get a recent something on
Got
that?
something yesterday,
Yeah, I did too.
and I haven't had a chance to digest it, but basically, I was trying to get on there and see if I could print it, sign it, and send it back, but there's some additional settlements they've got into, and they just need authority, so if you will give me authority to accept the settlements we cannot change.
Well, I think the deadline was for April 16th, so
Right.
we can put it off to the next
We
meeting.
can, but I think we just need to, it's,
What about the other money? Y'all never figured out where the other money came from last time or what it can be spent on?
We got to find out where that money came from first to know what criteria goes along with it. Like I said, all I got was just a check.
Well, we need to hurry and find out where it came from so we can have it for budget.
It's going to be highly restricted. So, anyway, I'll just leave this on and we'll get together for the next meeting on that. Number 9, the next payment on the general obligation bond series 2015A is due March 31st. And just remind everybody, we got, basically this was 2 bond issues, or 2 loans actually, 2 bonds issues, an A and a B. The A part of this was where the county refinanced the debt on the new jail. Got a lower interest rate, the reason we refinanced it. And the payment that's due March 31st on it is in the amount of $48,000. It's an interest-only payment. And this can be paid out of our SPLOST 2019-2024 jail checking account. And just, so that's the actual invoice. And then this is the actual list of the bonds, the maturity dates of the current bonds. So there'll be no principal payments on the jail portion till 2026. So that's why we're just paying interest only now. Then the next,
That's right, because when the principal ends on B, then we'll start paying principal on A.
right, that's correct.
We'll never have a double.
We'll never be
have a
paying
double
2
principal
principal payments.
And then the B will be done, right?
B, let's go to it. B, next payment is due March 31st. The amount is $272,000, of which $255,000 is principal and $17,700 of interest. And this will have to be paid from the general fund checking account.
Well, you go back up.
Yeah, I got the same thing down here. Same thing down here. So
After 25 at that last payment.
well, 20. Yeah, no. For some reason or another, 25's the last. Well, 25 we're making payments through 25 on the B.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go 26. We make a principal payment on A. But then for 27, we come back and make the final principal payment on B. So A skips 27. Why they did that, I don't know. That's what they did. But this is the one highlighted right now, that the payment we got to make for B.
Okay, but then we skip. Okay, so A still skips 27.
A skips 27 because we come down here and pick up a final payment on B for 27.
Okay.
And then B will be completely paid off in 27. And then we'll, for 28 through 34, we'll be making principal payments on A, and then it'll be paid off. And that's just informational purposes. Don't need any action by the board on that, but I always like to keep you all apprised of major payments. Okay, that's all the regular items I had, and then item number 12 that I don't have on the screen, and I apologize for that, but the Dooley County Industrial Development Authority has recently completed their last fiscal year audit and have provided us a copy of it. If anybody would like a copy of it, I can email you a copy of the report. So that's just for informational purposes. Come on. Oh, that's it on there. And the auditor is currently working on our audit for last fiscal year, which ended last September 30th. And one of the questions he always asks, and up to now I've never bothered asking y'all, but I'm going to start referring this question to y'all. in doing the audit, we are currently still showing the debt from the city of Unadilla for law enforcement as an accounts receivable. And he asks me every year, do we still want to continue to carry that on our books or write it off on our books? So, and I haven't asked y'all that in the past, but I'm going to start asking y'all this now. So what's y'all's pleasure on that?
I'd like to carry it right now.
You know, how much they paid,
I know they did pay something, I forgot what it.
I knew that question was going to come up in a minute.
Yeah.
Let me, where can I find that right quick? Right here. In the financial report book you get every month. Let's see, this is December's. Let me go to the back and work forward. Get to it quicker this way.
Let me speak to that request from the auditor, if I may, Mr. Chairman. From the auditor standpoint, he may want to write it off the book so he doesn't have to deal with it. But from a legal standpoint, there's an intergovernmental agreement, I think two, that deal with one, some arrearage from a prior intergovernmental agreement and the one up until they terminated that agreement. And so there's a contract that needs to be, that is a legitimate item of debt that the county taxpayers are financing debt free. And the consideration to do it debt free was the
Interest.
Interest free, because it's between one entity and another entity in the county. Okay, you cannot make loans from the treasury of this county to me as an individual, and that's against the gratuities clause of the Constitution. The only way it can be done is through an intergovernmental agreement. So you can't just erase that intergovernmental agreement. That debt has got to stay there, whether you collect it or not. So the question is, do you want, at some point, the appropriate question is not write it off the books, but do you want to pursue it? So that's the legal question, not do you get rid of it, it's do you pursue it?
I didn't mean to say,
I know you did.
I didn't mean to say the auditor doesn't care. He just asked, he doesn't care either way. He just want to know,
what are we going to do with it?
do we still, he just want to make sure we still want to carry it on the books is all he's asking for. And the amount in the financial report, when you get to the part where he's got each department, the sheriff's department's little financial report section of it, you go through there, and then this is, it's getting weird about, can't hardly read it, that back as of August of 21, they owed $215,000 for the 4-year term of 2013 through 2016, and $225,000 for the next 4-year term. The agreements were in 4-year terms that coincided with the term of the sheriff, because the agreement had to was signed off by the Board of Commissioners, the city of Unadilla, and the sheriff. All three parties had to agree to it. So as of August 31st, there was a balance of $440,000 owed. City made a payment of $215,000 back in September of 21, leaving a balance of $225,000.
So they have paid, quote, the original arrearage from the 2013 to 16. So what they owe is the last one that they had, 2017 and 20. And that 17 to 20 agreement was entered into at the same time that there was a new mayor and council in the city of Unadilla. And they, in order to get us to provide the services through the sheriff's department, they had to agree to remedy the prior debt. And they've done that. But they also at the same time incurred a debt under that new agreement. And so what we're talking about is what was done, not with prior councils, but with the current, well, not the current council. There's been another election since then.
That payment wasn't done in 21.
No.
It was after ARPA. Was that 21 money?
In my records, it was.
So the question then is, was that made payment, and was there a second payment they were supposed to make with ARPA?
No, it was never agreed. I would still like to table this until we do budget this year,
Yeah, just leave it
please.
on there, yeah. It ain't bad as I thought it was.
Mhm.
Okay.
I know they made an annual payment, but I didn't know the deal. So now what do we have now? We don't charge them anymore now for our services up there?
No, we're not. We are no longer providing active service up there.
Good for the city, we're just patrolling.
It's like we do every municipality.
It is a lot less than I thought it was.
Yeah, me too.
They've done a good.
They took a chunk. Maybe it was 20. They took a good chunk out of it, Harper. But I'd still. We got some stuff we need to do this year. I'd rather wait till budget time.
Okay, all right. Item 14, just informational purposes, Gerald Mixon, with the River Valley Regional Commission, he's been over here quite often helping us with updating our comprehensive plan, our service delivery strategy. He's helped us tremendously over the years. Anyway, he is retiring the 17th of this month after 46 years of service with the River Valley Regional Service. And they're having a little retirement celebration drop in America. So I'll send all y'all a copy of that invite in case y'all would like to participate. The number 15 is really New Cut Road. This is just an item I put on here just why a landowner has a drainage issue on New Cut Road. That's in your district. That's a dirt road that comes out of Byronville.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
you know where I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'll get with you after the meeting. I'd suggest get with Rodney and y'all go look at it. You got 2 hours. You can get Rodney, go out there and look at it, and he can explain what the landowner is asking. Or you can meet the landowner out there. Rodney's meeting will take 5 minutes. The landowner's meeting will take 30 to an hour.
Is it on that road too? Is the landowner, does he live on that road?
No, he doesn't live on that road.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that road there. And where it is now? It'll take every piece of equipment in the county to pull you off.
Well, I went out there yesterday. I rode out there yesterday with Rodney, and the road was in decent shape yesterday, but
that's a red clay road.
That's one of y'all's red clay roads. You are exactly right. And just so you'll know where I'm talking about, and everybody else will. All right, this is Highway 230 coming into Byronville. I don't know what I don't know what the street name is in the city of Byronville, but then it turns to dirt right here.
That's right.
This is the parcel right here. The fellow has a shop back in the back. His hobby is model airplanes.
Oh.
So if you go, the meeting may take longer than that.
I know.
If you
Talk
go.
about airplane.
So anyway, but
I never met him.
yeah. But anyway, I'd suggest I'll get Rodney to give you a call and try to schedule.
Okay.
He's got what he thinks is a legitimate claim. I kind of don't know that county's going to be able to really assist him for what he's asking for. But
Okay. Now I didn't know nobody lived.
he don't live back there.
Okay.
He doesn't live back
I'm
there.
definitely say God.
He
Man.
bought he bought land with the intention of building it, and didn't realize how
Yeah.
the condition of the road
That's right.
and a house over on Nellyville Road became available.
Uh-huh.
And as he told me yesterday, he said, my wife said she wanted that house
I know she does.
rather than a house on that dirt road.
Smart woman.
Well, yes, sir, buddy.
Well, yeah, that's just
Okay, all right. And then last item on the Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care Community Service Board. That is a mouthful. Let's go to the county website, go to county directory, and get down here to the part where we list all the different board appointments. We have one for Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care Community Service Board. And currently, Betty Lamb serves on that board, and we're allowed 2 members on that board, and we've had one vacancy for quite some time. Well, Mr. Andrew Felton come in and said that he had been recommended to serve on that board by a member that serves on that board in another county. So he's willing to serve on that board if y'all want to appoint him to the Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care Community Service Board.
He wanted it. He wanted it, wasn't it?
You see,
That the youngest is
Andrews.
can he serve with it being an elected official?
Shouldn't it affect them with the school board? That's what you talking about.
Who's Andrew Fell?
He
Is
on
that
the
the
school
same
board.
Andrew?
He's on the school
He on
board.
the school
Oh,
board.
okay. I just know my wife couldn't serve on one because she was on the council, but I don't know if
Does he live
He gave me his address.
there? Okay, I'm
Yes.
if he wants to serve.
He gave,
Check with Middle Flint to make sure there's not a conflict, that they don't have a board policy that prevents us from appointing someone.
yeah.
There's not anything on our end that would prevent us from.
so while we hold up and let me find that out before we appoint him, I hate to appoint him, he'd not be able according to their rules, so.
We wouldn't want him to be disappointed.
That's all the regular items I have, Mr. Chairman. Would like to have a executive session.
All right. I need a motion on the
I
floor.
make a motion to go into executive session for executive session purposes.
Also,
It has been motion and second. All in favor by the show of hands. That is unanimous. Motion carries. We are now going into executive section.
Welcome, Mr.